Being a mom is hard. It can cause sometimes a lot of stress, anxiety, burnout. We're going to be talking to one of the authors of our recent book, The Ripple Effect of Impact. And stay around because we're going to give you a technique that's going to help you to move out of that overwhelm in the moment. We'll be right back. The ripple effect is when you do something and that thing that you do affects others. It spreads out. The ripple effect can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. It all depends on what actions you're taking as to the ripple effect that you're creating in life. This book, we're going to be sharing several, authors will be sharing their message, their story about creating a positive ripple effect on the planet. One of those persons is Michelle Richards. Michelle is a mom coach. I love the word mom. I just think it's so fun to say because we don't say it that way in the US. We say mom. And Michelle, welcome to the show here. Excited to talk to you today because we had a really great talk before we got started. And I'm excited to dive into what you do to help moms to overcome that anxiety, the pressure that they have of being a mom. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. It's so exciting to be here and to share what it is that I do as a mum coach. And I know you guys say mom, don't you, with an O?
Yeah. Yeah. Mom.
Mom.
Well, for those of us who are moms, whether we're currently with our children, mine are 39 and 40. They might be 40 and 41. I don't remember how old they are right now, but I think they're 39 and 40. And, being with children who are older, I did go through that experience of having them at a young age. And boy, was I overwhelmed. I got to tell you, it was stressful, especially with my daughter. My son was a lot easier. And if you're watching Gina, it's okay. It was just part of what we did growing up. We're a lot better now than we were back then. But there were a lot of stresses, a lot of this going on. And for me, that created within me a lot of turmoil, a lot of like, am I doing this right? I'm a terrible mom. I don't know what I'm doing. I wish I could be better. And like all these different things that I had wished that I could do better. And so let's talk about, first of all, share with everybody what it is that you do as a mom coach.
Yeah. Okay. So I can completely relate to everything you just said because myself, I've been there. I'm a mum of 4. My oldest is 22 and I have a grandbaby and my youngest is 2. So I'm kind of right across the whole spectrum of children at the moment. I've got 3 adult children and then we have a baby as well. And I've been through everything. I've been through that headbutting with my daughters. I've been through that not feeling good enough, feeling confused and lost. And through my journey, I've sought lots of different support. I've sought it from counselors, I've sought it from your therapists, I've been to support groups, I've done everything you can imagine to try and find something to help me navigate the waters of motherhood and professional motherhood at that. I'm a nurse by trade. So for me, I was a working mum, running a household, being the financial controller, being, the house cleaner and the washer lady and everything that comes along with running a household and being a mum. And it wasn't until I had my last daughter that I realized that I'd gone through 40 years of my life and had never found that support network that I really longed to have as a mother. And now I was having another child. I was like, well, it's time that I created that because I haven't found it yet. And it's time that I created it because I know that I'm not alone in this experience. So I've worked really hard over the last few years and I have become a certified neuro-linguistic program practitioner. So I now work with women, specifically mothers, and I help them break through all of these barriers of stress, burnout, and anxiety to now be able to create a fulfilling life that they're really proud of and they feel empowered. And through that, I've created a whole community of women that are like-minded and they come together through the luxury of internet that we have to be able to support each other through motherhood and ask questions and things. So Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that you've created that, because as you're talking, just thinking about, the support that, like, I had support with my family, but there was still the same dynamic that it had always been. And, reaching out to people who don't have that history with us is, I think, is very important, because what I see, and what, this is from my own observations, is that as I myself have been growing through life and meeting new people in my life, those people see me as where they met me. But my family still sees me here. So my family still sees me as that 5 or 6 year old. They don't see that I'm doing these different things in life than I was doing when I was, a young tyke. And so it's important for us to have these new people in our lives, because these are the people that are going to be able to support us in a different way. Now, family might be supportive and maybe they're not, but those people who are like doing the kind of work that you do, that understand it, they've been through it, they have helped themselves to work through it. It's important to find those people in our lives so that they can help us to grow, to continue to grow. We were talking about that before we got started here today. And so first of all, before we go on, I just want to say, if you want to connect with Michelle, go to boss-mum.com and connect with her. Do you have a community over there? Do you have a free community by any chance that people can join?
Yes, I have a free community on my Facebook where that women can join and come together, and it's specifically only for women, so we don't allow men into that group at all. And that is a safe space where it's a non-judgmental space. We can ask questions, we can seek guidance, and I do live tips and tricks and updates and supports. There's lots of ebooks, free ebooks that I've done that you have access to around time management, because I know time management for mums can be a really challenging experience to undertake, especially around holiday seasons and festive events and things. You're trying to figure out how you're going to navigate the waters of everything that you have to do, plus all those extra things that are coming up with those events. So I've made some really, really easy ebooks for mums to be able to follow, and you can put that into practice across all different events and times in your life, really.
What's the name of the group? The name of the group?
It's the Women's Empowerment Network.
Women's Empowerment Network. Yeah, I'm typing it in just so you know, so I can put it up on the screen for those who want to see it. Okay, so Facebook group, Women's Empowerment Network. So as you can tell, we didn't talk about this before we get started because I didn't realize that there was a Facebook group. So that's awesome. Yeah. You can go in there and get tips, tricks, tools, techniques. There she has ebooks. She has opportunities to learn and grow. Also connect with other moms from around the world. Connect them, make those network connections with people. Like sometimes you just need to get away from anybody so that you can talk about something that maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to those about. Go into this group and make the connections over there. So that's awesome. So Michelle, there's a visualization technique that you use, because we're talking about tools and techniques right now about your group. So why don't you share with us what this visualization technique is that you're going to share with us, and what result should I get, or what result is possible for me to get when doing this technique or after doing this technique?
Yeah, so if you don't mind, it'd be awesome if you did it with us, and then you'll actually be able to feel the
I'll tell everybody what result I got. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
So it's quite a simple technique that you can use at any time of the day. It's something that is quite inconspicuous, so nobody would really know that you're doing it in the moment, which means that you can take it to work, you can take it anywhere you are, in public, anywhere, and it won't be kind of polarizing and making you feel like people are staring at you. So it's just about standing, sitting comfortably wherever you are. Okay. If this is your eye line here, you're going to be looking above your eye line, and you're going to be just focusing on one spot. And as you're focusing on that one spot for probably 10 to 15 seconds, you can continue to blink. You're not a robot. You don't need to stop. I want you to then start to look out to your peripherals. So keeping your eyes at that same spot, but looking out to your peripherals. Just keep it going, and you'll start to feel this calmness come from your head all the way down your shoulders, into your torso, and down to your hips. And as the further you can look out to your peripherals, the lighter you will start to feel, and your body will just naturally start to feel calm. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling some anxiety, maybe you're having an argument with someone and you're starting to feel very stressed or uncomfortable, you can do this in the moment and you can start to feel that calmness come over you so that you can actually take a moment in time to compose yourself before you respond or before you take an action that you may later regret doing. It just gives you that clarity in that moment to be able to do that. Did you get to feel that, Linda, that calmness that comes over your body as you do it? So
I
it's a
did.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's instant. It's like and what's helpful was helpful is that you were saying it, and I know like the power of persuasion or the power of some sorts of hypnosis and what have you. Whereas when somebody makes a suggestion to us, it makes it a lot easier for us to say, "Oh, that's what I need to be doing." And so
Yeah.
I think what would be helpful with that is that when we're out and about and doing that, is to say those things to ourselves, right? It's like, you are feeling relaxed down to your shoulders. You're feeling relaxed down to your torso, and to say those actual words instead of to just look up there and not really directing ourselves of what to do. So that was awesome. And I shared with you. So while I was doing it, I don't know why this came to mind, but suddenly I was in a bar, which I don't go to bars, which is, I used to in the past, it's been like 20 years since I've been to a bar, but suddenly I was in a bar and I was picturing like a bar fight happening. Like, this is what I was actually visualizing, which is kind of funny. And I was picturing the bar fight happening and me sitting at the bar, staring up like that, like just ignoring anything that was going on. So that was my experience.
When you were in that bar years and years ago, back in your previous existence, were you feeling anxious or overwhelmed in that moment when that bar fight was happening back then, do you believe? Would you have been getting quite uncomfortable?
Well, I have never seen a bar fight, so that's even weirder. Like, it was almost like I was in a movie seeing that happening, but I was actually in the movie or something. But I definitely 100% would have felt extremely uncomfortable had I
Yeah.
been in that kind of situation. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, now if you're ever in that situation in the future, you're just going to be able to go into your own Zen space and feel that beautiful, warm, just calmness go through your body, and you'll be like, okay, I've got this. And then you can choose to just step up and walk outside. You don't even need to stay in that space. Whereas for a lot of people in a situation like that, they would feel quite overwhelmed and scared, and they would run and hide, or they would be in the middle of that situation instead of just composing yourself and taking yourself outside.
Yeah, we were talking about energy before we got on here, about the energy of other people. And so like that is a great example. Not that everybody's in that kind of situation, but using that as a great example. You're in a public space, something is happening, a heated argument might be happening, like just even not even at your own table, but at somebody else's table. Maybe you're at a restaurant and something like that is happening. And that energy that's happening over there, let's talk about this, because that energy that's happening over there, I want you to think about this. We're going to talk about this in the bar situation, okay? But think about this in your own household. Like, this is happening in your own household. This is also happening, your own child is experiencing this at school.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that energy that we tend to allow ourselves to take on from other people. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a great subject to talk about, because as mothers and the nurturers, even if you're not very maternal as a mother, you're still the nurturer for 90% of your child as a baby and infant. And children between the ages of 0 and 8, they start to develop all of their belief systems. They start to develop all of their insecurities or their fears, or whatever those things are that they're going to carry on through their life, the patterns and that they will naturally show in later life. So as a mother, if we are stressed and we have this energy that is really kind of defensive or negative or fearful, we actually, without even knowing, so this is not about blaming mothers, because mothers, you are amazing and you are doing the best job you can with the tools and the resources that you have today. We are unknowingly and unwillingly giving all of this fear, guilt, doubt, shame, anger, hurt, sadness, all of this to our children through the unconscious mind, in the way that we conduct our own energy and what we do. So if you're in a house where you fight with your partner in front of your children, even though it might be something very insignificant to you and your partner, it could be extremely significant to that child who's experiencing that energy change and that shift. And this isn't about you having to be like, high and mighty and jumping around and laughing all the time. It's not about that. Like, the realism is that we're all going to go through, really happy moments and some moments that aren't so happy. But what it is about is it's about ensuring that the energy that you're giving out majority of the time is a really healthy, positive energy that's actually creating an environment that's safe, nurturing, and secure for those children. Because whatever you're giving them as little people, they are going to take on to their life into their adulthood, and they are going to carry that along until they find someone like me or another coach like me who works with energy and works with neuro-linguistic programming and the ability to guide people to change some of those patterns and behaviors that really they've inherited. Because even your patterns and behaviors as mum are not yours most of the time. You've inherited them from your mother or your grandmother, and they're generational things that you've got. So, a lot of us grow up in scarcity and we believe that there's not enough money, there's not enough of things to go around. Mm-hmm. And that's because our grandparents or great-great-great-grandparents fought in a war, and they were in scarcity. They were in fight or flight for their whole life pretty much, because they could still hear the gunshots going off when they'd left the war. They could still remember the times where they went days and days and days without food. They still remember sleeping in trenches, in water up to their neck and freezing. So they've carried that on their whole life, and they've naturally given that to their children without even realizing. So 90% of the things that you believe are not yours. They're recycled from somebody else. So if you can remember that, that's a really big key, because sometimes in the moment, we say and do things, and then we're like later, why did we do or say that? Like, why do we even do that? Because it doesn't really feel like me. And it's not. It's just you've been programmed as a child to say and do certain things. And it's really funny. I remember as a child myself being told that children are seen and not heard. That was something that was in my life. Yeah. And I'm the complete opposite. Children need to be seen and they need to be heard. That's my opinion. And I was always like, so I kind of felt like an alien in my life. I didn't really know where I belonged, because I was like, well, I don't understand. Why wouldn't I be seen and heard? Like, if I'm going to grow up to be the future generation, then don't I need to be seen and be heard? That was my whole life growing up, questioning, well, why would that be a thing? I don't get it. And it wasn't until I got to a lot older and I was a lot more confident with who I was as a person and believed that I'd grown into be an amazing person that I actually started to investigate some of those things around the neuro-linguistic programming that had happened and the neural pathways and how we can actually change those neural pathways. So, yeah, it's really interesting. But, mums, you're doing the best you can with what you have right now. And if you want to go to the next level, then there is so much growth and opportunity out there. And your children are going to benefit so much from you being the best version that you can be as a woman and a mother, because if you're empowered, your kids are going to be empowered.
100%. I love this. There's so many different things we can talk about related to this. Unfortunately, we don't have time for all of that, which is a bummer. So definitely connect with Michelle. You can find her at boss-mum.com. Go connect with her over there, and you'll go ahead and follow us. Like, I have the kind of things down, the little images or whatever down below there. Action Takers Publishing. We're on YouTube. Go follow us. What do you call it? Subscribe over there, hit that bell and everything. And then also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And Michelle, when you're talking about that, it's so interesting, because I ran away when I was 5 years old and I was gone for an entire week. And that was because at 5 years old, I had a mind of myself to say that this is not an environment I want to live in, because it was a very volatile, abusive, alcoholic household. And so I love to share that, because as a 5-year-old, we know what's going on. We feel that energy, and we don't have time to dive into that right now, but go over to Michelle's Facebook group, connect with her over there, and maybe she'll talk a little bit about that over there as well. So Michelle, we are here to talk about the book, The Ripple Effective Impact. And I want to share that the title of your chapter in that book is Laugh, Cry, Thrive. Join the Mumhood party and let's sparkle together. So first of all, what I'd love for you to share before we talk about your chapter, I just want a brief bit about that. But what does the ripple effect mean to you?
The ripple effect literally gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. It's about empowering future generations, youth, my children specifically as well, to be these amazing humans that go out into the world and do some amazing transformations, whether that's around, the environment, whether that's around personal transformation, whether that's around political transformation. We're living in a really, I suppose we're living in a world that's really lucky. We're in a country as a globe, a world that's very, very lucky. I'm in a country, specifically Australia, which I am so blessed to have so many amazing things at my fingertips. And I believe that if we don't keep teaching our children and our youth that they are so lucky and should be so grateful for what they have, we're actually going to turn into a country of haters, because at the moment I believe there's a lot of hate and negativity in the world. And I think that our education system needs a really big shakeup in the way that we adjust to teaching children. And I think that we need to take them out of the four walls that we've put them in, and we need to get them outside. We need to get them connected to earth. We need to allow them to explore the beauty that they are, and we need to encourage them to have a voice and speak. And together we can laugh and to cry, and our children can thrive through us as mothers laughing and crying, because there's nothing wrong with crying. There's actually nothing wrong at all with feeling emotion. It's really important that you feel them all. Feel the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yeah, I've done a lot of crying. That's for sure. A lot of that. You can get your copy of the book, plus several of the authors have given away free gifts. Go to actiontakerspublishing.com/ripple, RIPPLE. Go get your, copy of the book as well as those free gifts. Michelle, gosh, I can't believe we're out of time already, but I would love for you to share, what is one thing that you would like the readers to take away from reading this book, Ripple Effective Impact?
I just want you to know, mums, that you are the key to raising emotionally intelligent, loving people of the future. You are the key to this. So invest in you, because you will get the greatest rewards from being the best version of you through watching your children and your community and the world become this just loving, beautiful society where people are there to build everyone up and not tear people down. I want you to know that you are the key. Mothers are the key.
Mothers, you are the key, and connecting with somebody like Michelle is going to help you to get a better handle on that key. So go to boss-mum.com, reach out to Michelle, see how she can help you to create a healthier relationship within your own household, yourself, which will ripple out to the rest of the world. You guys go out there, get a copy of the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/ripple. And last, if you have a story inside of you that you want to tell, we probably have a collaboration book, just like the Ripple Effect, that can help you to get your story, your message out there. Go to our website, actiontakerspublishing.com, find out what we're doing over there, and see how you can participate as well. Michelle, thanks so much for being here, being part of this book and sharing your message, this journey with us. It's been absolutely incredible. And I'm excited because I know that I've made a lot of shifts in my own life, and you've helped me to see that, while I was a mom and I was, beating myself up for the work that I was doing, that I was doing the best I could with the tools that I had at the time. So thank you for that. I truly appreciate that.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for having me here and for being part of this book and giving us a platform to be able to have these discussions with people. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Everybody go to actiontakerspublishing.com, get your copy of the book, /ripple, get your copy of the book and also those free gifts. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
At the beginning of 2023, I had a great burning desire to get my work and my writing out into the world. I wanted to build a consistent writing practice, and I was struggling with how to get started. And it was with the perfect timing that I was invited by a friend of mine to participate in my very first collaboration book. And I now have 3 collaboration books under my belt. 2024 with Action Takers Publishing. So it's really changed my life and my world and just how I write about my experiences and stories. And if you're looking to get started and you just really don't know how, this is such a supportive place for that.